So we're here to have a big number natter, and I thought a really good place to start is looking at the huge confidence gap towards numeracy and maths and numbers between men and women. And as a school teacher, I've seen the differences in confidence between boys and girls. And I sort of want to get a perspective of why you think that number confidence gap exists.
Girls can be good at maths, and we are actually good at it, but what we're lacking is the confidence. So by us telling ourselves, oh, that's not something, I'm good at, or I assume I shouldn't be good at it because that's what society has told me to, we lose that confidence, although our skill level might not be as lower than the boys, right, at school. And I think step one is just to present ourselves as, yes, I can do that, I can improve it. I'm no less than, the males in my group. And I think that will already help us to put ourselves at least there as equals.
Even if the skill levels, the attainment levels are the same, I've seen so many times in a class where I'll put a question up on the board and I know that the top attaining girls, they can answer the question, but they'll sort of be a bit shy, reticent, and the boys will put their hand up and they might make a mistake, but they won't mind, they'll just carry on. And I check the girl's marks or the working out. She's got it correct, but she didn't put her hand up.
I actually took A-level maths. I was really good at maths in school, took A-level maths, and then I began to struggle because suddenly I found myself in this really smart class full of kids that I didn't know, and I was bottom of the class as opposed to being top in high school. And so I really struggled to catch up, and the easiest thing for me to do was to drop it.
So was it your confidence that got hit?
Yeah, big time, because I felt embarrassed to put my hand up because I didn't know the concept, and typically I always had done, and I felt like people would think I was stupid or I was lazy, but really I was struggling to balance all of the plates. So for me, that's where it stems from. And then going further forward, I gained the confidence and realised actually it doesn't matter how long it takes me to learn this, I can still get it.
Because people sometimes think being good at numbers is a race, who's the quickest. But actually in real life, it's about, can you get to the eventual solution? It doesn't really matter how long you take, you're gonna get that confidence, but everyone has
the
their own
pressure
journey.
of the group sometimes, isn't it? Because obviously we'll go to school, it's a group situation and everybody learns at different speeds, and I know that as a dance teacher, who every year has to find new way of delivering information because everybody learns differently, they learn different speed. And for me, what I've realized is the moment you let go of the expectation of yourself and allow yourself and give that freedom to go wrong, or even just to simply admit, do you know what, I don't know it, I'm confused or I'm slower than others, you let go of that pressure, and then you're open to actually learning and asking for help. There's so many resources available for us nowadays that we just have to say, yeah, I need help, and that's okay. Do you think boys at school take those sort of knockdowns easier than the girls? And is that why maybe they perform better, because it's okay for them to fail where the girls take it really seriously?
There's actually research on this from National Numeracy, and it shows that a quarter of women, 24%, feel nervous or anxious about maths, whereas maths, for boys, it's half that number. It's only an eighth, about 12% of boys and men that feel anxious and nervous about maths. So clearly there's that divide already that we see from a young age, and that sort of filters through to adult life, where people who are women think, oh, just because they're female, they can't do maths. But actually, it's more to do like just rebuilding your confidence.
Yeah, and I think it's also potentially what you're exposed to. So my dad has worked in engineering like my whole life. He was a toolmaker.
Is that what sort of inspired you to think you can be a...
Well, yeah, he always used to say you'd make a really good engineer. And for the longest time, I wasn't interested. I used to think engineering was literally woodwork, working on a lathe all day, and I didn't want to do that. I had this misconception. And at the same time, though, I was always surrounded by programs like Mythbusters and how it's made, and I had this interest. And so even though I thought to myself, no, I don't want to be an engineer in the future, it was always there, that interest. And so coming back to it, I was always, ready to have a go at maths and ready to have a crack at it. Whereas if you're not exposed to those kind of industries from young, you might think, oh, actually, no, that's never going to concern me, so I don't actually need to try. So then when children are then put in a position where they have to sit a test, they're going to get nervous because they've not actually had that interest from a young age.
So actually, you're sort of moving on to like what solutions are there to tackle this confidence gap. One of the things you mentioned was like exposure to careers with numbers and maths. Like what other sort of ideas do we have on how we can actually challenge this?
Parents at home and having that positive attitude towards topics of maths and numbers. I think it's really important to be the example of that, right? And even if parents don't know all the answers, it's just building that attitude, the positive towards it. Maybe you don't know it now, but we can learn. Maybe you can't solve this problem now, but you can with time. So it's
a growth mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the growth mindset. It's just attitude that parents foster in their homes is already a good starting point, because I feel like I didn't have that negative attitude because
your brother's a physicist.
Yeah, my brother's got a PhD in physics, mathematics. Like my dad is sort of really advanced in that area. But I never felt like I was less, because we always spoke about it from a place of curiosity, you know, from a place of game. And my dad would sort of guide me into these like maths questions and quizzes, but in the most playful way. So it felt like a game. It felt exciting and curious and something that I will have the answer by the end of it, rather than scared and no, I don't know, so I will hide. So I think starting at home with a positive attitude towards numbers and creating that lovely sort of happy bubble, you know, rather than a scary monster, is important to start with from young age.
I feel like there is change being made, but just a bit quicker. Let's move it quicker.
Let's move it quick, but it's not about the speed, Bobby.
Exactly. Apart from the change, let's move the change quicker. Should we do a little, what is it, the
number nutter,
number,
girls and maths.
Do it again.
Bad timing. 1, 2, 3.